is nothing but a sudden onset neurological emergency wherein it is caused by some kind of a disturbance to the blood flow of the brain, because of which brain goes into a state of dysfunction. And the word here, which is very important, is a sudden onset, because it happens generally without any warning symptoms. And if symptoms happen, the most common symptoms to recognize are the sudden onset speech loss or difficulty in speaking, or a weakness of one half of the body, maybe one limb or one half of the body totally, or it may be difficulty in balancing oneself. And apart from that, there can be a sudden onset unconsciousness, following which the patient continues to remain in a state of unconsciousness for more than a few minutes in time. Anything to do with blood circulation of the brain can be because of a blockage of the blood supply, which is called, because of which there may be a lack of oxygen delivery to the cells, resulting in a type of stroke called ischemic stroke. The other type of stroke is called as a hemorrhagic stroke, wherein the blood moves out of the normal circulating pathways because of the rupture of a pathway along which it is traveling. So that is called a hemorrhagic stroke. Most common stroke is ischemic. About say 75 to 80% of them are ischemic strokes. The remaining 20 to 25% are hemorrhagic strokes. And in both the cases, the symptoms are more or less the same, except that in hemorrhagic stroke, you may have a sudden onset headache, and there can be fits or seizures in addition to the earlier discussed symptoms. Now, ischemic stroke again can be because of a narrowing in the blood vessel, which may happen either in the neck, or it can happen after the blood goes into the head, and it can be because of a narrowing or a sudden onset block in the blood circulation. The reason for this block could be either, usually it's a blood clot, which is traveling along the pathway of the pathway of the blood or the blood circulation. This clot can arise most commonly from the neck because of constant aging, or because of accumulation of some fat, or the blood cells itself, which we call as a thrombus. So the most common type of block usually arises because of dislodgement of a part of a clot from the neck, and then they travel into the brain and block a particular blood vessel. The other cause could be because of migration from any other part of the body, usually the heart, the pumping mechanism, especially in people who have got artificial valves and who are on blood thinners already, because of some kind of accumulation of cells or thrombi over the valves. They can get dislodged and then they can enter the brain, which is called the embolic type of stroke. The first one is the thrombotic one. Apart from this, the other sources can be because of some kind of a balance in the factors which are responsible for maintaining the blood in a thinned out state. We call as the coagulation factors or the anticoagulation factors. When there's an imbalance between both of them because of some congenital abnormality or because of some acquired reasons, that is the other reason for an ischemic stroke. Ischemic stroke, most of them are minor strokes, in the sense that they tend to block only a small blood vessel which can supply a part of the brain. So around 80% of them are minor strokes. So if they are properly identified in time and then treated in time, they'll have a very good recovery. The remaining 20% of strokes are called the large vessel occlusions. Large vessel occlusions means a blockage of any blood vessel which is 3 millimeter or more in diameter. So these strokes can be catastrophic, and in spite of the best treatment, can have some long-standing neurological disabilities or deficits. However, with the recent advances since 2015, there are so many other new options to treat these patients if identified in the correct period of time. So apart from the recognition of symptoms, it is also important that the patients are transferred to the right center so that there is no wastage of time, and their appropriate investigation needs to be done, and the appropriate treatment, either medical or in some cases we call it interventional techniques, patients are likely to have good outcomes.